Okay, we're on Daniel chapter 11, and it's quite a long chapter, so I'll probably do it in two parts. The kings of Egypt and Syria. Now, what I'm about to tell you is true. 3 more kings will come to power in Persia. Then a 4th one will rule. He will be much richer than all the others. He will use his wealth to gain power, and he will stir up everyone against the kingdom of Greece. After him, a mighty king will come to power. He will rule with great power. Do you want to wave at the audience? Well, where am I? As he pleases. Not long after his rule ends, his kingdom will be broken up. It will be divided up into 4 parts. His children will not receive it when he dies, and it will not be as strong as his kingdom. It will be pulled up by the roots, and it will be given to others. The king of Egypt will become strong, but one of his commanders will become even stronger. He will rule over his own kingdom with great power. After many years, the 2 kingdoms will join forces. The daughter of the next king of Egypt will go to the king of Syria. She will join forces with him. But she will not hold on to her power, and he and his power will not last either. In those days, she and her attendants will die. They will die when the people she trusts lie to her. The same thing will happen to her father and the one who helped her. Someone from her family line will take her place. He will attack the army of the next king of Syria. Then he will enter his fort. He will fight against the army and win. He will take the metal statues of their gods. He will also take away their priceless objects of silver and gold. He will carry everything off to Egypt. For many years, he will leave the king of Syria alone. Then the king of Syria will march into territory that was controlled by Egypt. After that, he will return to his own country. His sons will prepare for war. They will gather a huge army, and it will sweep along like a mighty flood. The army will fight his way as far as one of the Egyptians' forts. Another king of Egypt will march out, and with mighty force, he will be very angry. But then another person will have become king in Syria. The king of Egypt will come to fight against him. The king of Syria will gather a huge army. But that army will lose the battle. His soldiers will be carried off. Then the king of Egypt will be filled with pride. He will kill many thousands of soldiers, but his success will not last. The king of Syria will bring another army together. It will be larger than the first one. After several years, he will march out with a huge army, and it will have everything it needs for battle. In those times, many people will rise up against the next king of Egypt. Lawless people in your own nation will refuse to obey him. That is what you saw in your vision, but they will not succeed. Then the king of Syria will go to a certain city that has high walls around it. He will build ramps against them, and he will capture the city. The forces of Egypt will not have the power to stop him. Even their best troops will not be strong enough to stand up against him. He will do anything he wants to. No one will be able to stand up against him. He will take over the beautiful land of Israel, and he will have the power to destroy it. The king of Syria will decide to come with the might of his entire kingdom. He will join forces with the king of Egypt, and the king of Syria will give his daughter to him to become his wife. The king of Syria will do this in order to take control of Egypt, but his plans will not succeed or help him. Then he will turn his attention to the lands along the Mediterranean coast. He will take over many of them, but a commander will put an end to the proud actions. He will turn his pride back on him. After this, the king of Syria will return to the forts in his own country, but he will trip and fall, and he will never be seen again. The next king after him will send someone out to collect taxes. The taxes will help maintain the glory of his kingdom. But in a few years, the king will be destroyed. It will not happen because someone becomes angry with him or kills him in battle. After him, another king will take his place. Many people will hate him. He will not be honored as a king should be. He will lead an army into the kingdom. When its people feel secure, he will make clever plans to capture it. Then he will sweep away a huge army. The army and a prince of the covenant will be destroyed. Excuse me. The king of Syria will make an agreement with that prince, but then the king of Syria will not keep his word. He will rise to even greater power with the help of only a few people. When the people in the richest areas feel secure, he will attack them. He will do what the kings before him could not do, and he will reward his followers with the goods and wealth he takes. He will make clever plans to take over the forts, but that will last for only a short time. He will become stronger and more confident. He will do that by gathering a large army, and then he will go to war against the next king of Egypt. That king will fight against him with a huge and very powerful army, but the king of Egypt will not be able to stand up against him. So the plans of the king of Syria will succeed. The trusted advisors of the king of Egypt will try to destroy him. His army will be swept away. Many of the soldiers will be wounded or killed. The kings of Syria and Egypt will sit at the same table, but in their hearts they will plan to do what is evil, and they will tell lies to each other, but it will not do them any good. God will put an end to their plans at his appointed time. The king of Syria will return to his own country, but he will go back there with great wealth. But he will make evil plans against the holy temple in Jerusalem. He will do a lot of harm to the temple and the people who worship there. Then he will return to his own country. At God's appointed time, the king of Syria will march south again. But this time, things will turn out differently. Roman ships will oppose him. He will lose hope. Then he will turn back, and he will take out his anger against the holy temple, and he will do good to the Jews who desert it. Sorry, I had to make sure I read that right. His army will come and make the temple area unclean. They will put a stop in the daily sacrifices. Then they will set up a hated thing that destroys. He will pretend to praise, I don't have time here, those who have broken the covenant, and he will lead them to do what is evil, but the people who know their God will firmly oppose him. I have to stop there. We'll start at verse 33 on the second part because time is running short here. Okay, I'll be back to do Psalm.